Hey, this is Jenny Jones from the AI Growth School. Now, what I want to do, I've been getting a lot of questions about Base 44. Is it any good? There's a lot of tools that out there. I've been vibe coding probably for about the last year, and I've looked at most of them. There's some things I liked about some of them, some of the things I don't like about. But I want to do is I want to go behind the scenes. Let's look at Base 44. Let's see if we can actually produce an app. Let's see if we can make some money. If you first time to this channel, please go and like, subscribe. I'm going to be going in and out of apps and AI tools. If you know me, you've been following me for a while. I have a lot of different channels. I'm always trying to I weave and in and out of a lot of different verticals because I have four master's degrees, right? So I'm always trying to weave in and try to help people make money in different areas. So if you want to just tune in, let's see what we can do with AI. Going to be looking at some different things, going to be giving you some ideas and some of the things that I learned. Let's take a look at this video. I want to do one of my biggest challenges was because I run multiple companies. One of my biggest challenges was trying to create a dashboard that would give me insights to all of my different revenue streams and all of my different verticals. I'm going to show you initially one that I created in another tool. I won't show you the tool yet, but I want to create another piece because I have three different pieces I want to add in a total tool. But let's take a look and see if I can add another piece because there's three pieces. Let's see if I can add another piece to the first piece that I built already. And I'm going to see how comparable they are and see which tool turned out the best. I'm going to take some of my best practices and building some of my Vibe tools. Let's take a look. Let's dive inside. Let's go over to my dashboard. This should be pretty good. All right, so here's my challenge here. I don't put my face here on screen here now. My challenge is I run 17 different domains. I have a 17 connected domains, and I run a digital network. Now, the problem with all of this is I have to have them all connected. They're all driven by a newsletter. So I need to manage all 17 of them all at one time. There's certain ones that are growing. There are some that are not growing at the pace that I want them to. But like I said, this is only one piece of multiple streams that I run. So this channel, it's always going to be about how can I help you put more money into your pocket. This is not one of those regular YouTube channels you just come to and says, "Oh, that was nice." Here I'm going to have very good intent for you to try to learn something new. Now, so like I was telling you, I run a couple of TV channels and I run these different domains. Now, the challenge with this is I have to track them all. And there is no software out there that allowed me to do that. Now, what I'm going to show you next is a dashboard that I built from scratch. I don't want to take you through my thought process when I was building it. And I'm going to share some things here. I do have what's called the AI Growth School, where I'm taking people and showing them how to build SaaS tools and grow their business. I still have maybe a couple of weeks away before I fully launch that. It's so much that goes into that, but I'll leave a link in the description where you can get on the wait list. I have a ton of things going on, but let's take a look at what's going on here. Only if you want to try to become a better app builder. These are some of the things that I'm doing. And no one, to me, I don't think no one's a true professional in vibe coding yet. I think there are people that know how to code, but even the vibe code, there's still some strategy that goes into it. So again, these are 17 different domains that I have. And let's take a look at the dashboard that I put together. Let me pull that up here. All right, so this is the dashboard. Let me take my face off the screen here so you can see. So the dashboard I wanted to create was I wanted to manage all of my properties, right? So this is my property portfolio here, and these are all the different properties I wanted to manage. Now, the challenge was trying to find a dashboard that I can log in and see where everything's going all at the same time. And I just built this. It's not really populated. It took me maybe 2 hours to tweak it and get it the way I want to. Now, I didn't build this in Base 44. I built this in another app. And what I'm going to be doing is comparing apps which one is the best one that I like, which one is easier to deploy and all that. So I'm not going to reveal to you the app that I built this in, but I want to build something similar to this. So this gives me I don't want to build this in Base44, and I do not want to hold you long, but let's just take a look at it. This is the property portfolio here. I already showed you that. These are the KPIs, or the key performance indicators for all of the properties here. I can go to per property and look at every single property and figure out what are the key performances here. I can go here and I can go in here and figure out what I want the monthly traffic to be. So this is basically, once I get it all filled out, it's going to tell me where I'm at, and I'll look at the dashboard and it'll tell me if I'm on track here. It says, are we at risk and not growing? Because of the way I set up my ecosystem is I want to earn at least $500,000 a year from this particular ecosystem. So I backed in all the numbers and it showed me how much I have to produce for each part of the actual digital map here. So I want to be able to generate at least $500,000, but I needed a dashboard to help me stay on track. So it goes in and tells you for each property which one's ready to launch, which one's ready to come on board. It gives me a readiness report. Hey, this one's ready, that one's ready. Again, I just built this. Gives me a launch time frame, when do I want to launch it. It gives me monetization, which one is monetized, just my system settings. It gives me just my system settings right here as well. And it'll tell you how much revenue it's producing. This one has 7 active streams so far that I want to get ready to bring online. But again, I'm still working on this. So let's go back to Base44. And now this is one arm. I have 3 arms I want to build. And what I would like to do is build 3 command centers to run 55 revenue streams. I know it sounds like a lot, but they're all ran digitally, right? So I want to be able to get up. My dream is to get up in my pajamas, do a couple of tweaks, and then call it a day. It's what we did as day traders. Me being a former stockbroker, there are certain stocks that I look at, certain I analyze, and I kind of want to run this the same way, where I get up and I run 3 major profit centers, and each one of those would be an ecosystem command center, and it would manage about 55 revenue streams. All right. So this is leg 1. I want to build leg 2, but I'm going to use Base44 to see if it can help me. All right. So let's see what we can get into, right? Let's see what we can get into in Base44. Now we're over at Base44. Now, before we get started, right, I built out this other, I'll show you this one. No, I probably won't show you that. We'll go into this. This is one that I built, and I built this for someone else as a test. But here's the problem that most people are making, right? And here's the problem that most people are making. When you come into a Vibe tool, right? And this was a pretty expensive Vibe tool. This is $50. I don't know if it's expensive just yet. I got to build more things with it to see. I only did 1 test, demo at the bottom. But normally when I get into building, there's 2 Vibe codes that I'm using a lot now. Probably maybe 3.5, but at least 2. And what you have to do is you have to do a lot of your homework before you go into the tool. So let me show you what I would do if I was going to build out an interface or a dashboard. And I just want to show you, because the biggest problem that people make is they just hop right into the Vibe tool. Vibe tool is not about discussing, right? There's tools where you discuss the ChatGPTs or the Claudes or the Perplexities, right? So let me give you what I do, right? And I'm trying to show you, these are the things that you'll learn in my AI Growth School. Because again, the AI Growth School is about showing people how to make money with AI and AI Vibe tools and stuff like that. So just an AI period. So the first thing that I do, right, is I do research. So I'm not going to get into all that today. I just kind of wanted to take you on a journey with me. And I think this will be probably a multi-portion video. One of the first things that I do is I research, right? My number 1 LLM research tool is Perplexity. It's just my number 1 tool, right? It's the one that I found the most joy in using. So I do use that, and those are things I'll talk about in a class, but I do use Perplexity. So the first thing that I want to do, right, and I'll just tell you this, the first thing that I want to do is I begin with the end in mind, and I've been coaching people for the last 8 years, and I always tell them, begin with the end in mind. What do you want it to look like? What do you want it to be? So I'll go into Perplexity, I'll research and say, hey, is this a good tool, or what do I need to do to make this come out that way? So I'm going to do some research first. Not going to get into that. I want to make this video short, but I am going to do the research, and I'll tell you what I came up with in my research. So I'll do the research first. I do that in Perplexity. Then what I like to do is I like to go into Claude, right? Perplexity is $20 a month. Claude is $20 a month. So that's $40, right? These tools are worth their weight in gold. I would pay them more, just don't tell them. But I think the value that they bring to your different projects. Perplexity research, then you use Claude. The reason why you use Claude is Claude gives you more technical coding language, more it familiarizes you with what you want to build. It kind of takes you down this path. You cannot do that initially in a tool like Base44, because Base44 can get pretty expensive. When you go into these tools, when you go into these vibe tools, you kind of got to know what you want to build already. So I would go into Perplexity first, then I would go into Claude to give me a working blueprint of what I want to build. And that way, when I come into Base44, I can already jump right into it. Hey, let's start building this thing. Not only that, I'll have different things that I can upload. So I'm going to let me do the research first, and I'm going to come back to you because I don't want to make this video long, but I want to make this I may make this a 1 or 2 part series so you can kind of see, but you already know what I'm up against. So I am building the second leg of a 3-leg prong eco master system, right? All right, so let me go do my research, then I'll return back and I'll kind of tell you what I did. Okay, so what I want to do for you now is kind of show you, I did a little research already. I did use Perplexity, but let me show you the actual script that I use. So I do have my own prompting library that I have here from a tool called PrettyPrompt. And there should be a link in the description, maybe for an affiliate link or something like that. So what it does is it kind of takes your inner thoughts and it kind of breaks it into, it's kind of a cheat code for what it is you really want to design and how to speak to an LLM. I think it's a very, very good tool. I know the founder very well. We helped, as a community, helped develop the perfect tool to help people get out of what they want for these. So what I wanted to do was, again, I run a travel agency, right? One of my other businesses, I bought a travel agency and started one because I like to travel. My wife likes to travel. She's retired. So what I did was I said, well, I know the tax laws around travel, having a travel agency, I might as well travel, create a travel business, get other people into the business and show them how to do that. But what I wanted to do was start measuring the KPI or the key performance indicators of the growth of my business. So this is my original prompt. I would like to build out a KPI command center for my travel business that would include both my marketing side of the travel business, that would include recruiting, YouTube growth, that would pretty much help the residual side of the business. So there's 2 sides in travel agencies. And again, I have a whole nother academy for that as well. But there's a residual growth side to it. And then there's a monthly recurring annual revenue that you generate from doing travel business. So what I wanted to do is I want to have 2 prongs in my business ecosystem. I want to measure both. I want to make sure both are growing to get me to the annual sales that I want to do. So my travel business, I want to earn $500,000 a year in there, want to earn $500,000 in my digital network. And in my other business, I want to earn $500,000. So I want to make $1.5 million in annual sales between my 3 command centers, right? And so what I want to do is measure cars, hotels, cruises, events. I do groups and all that other stuff. And I want to build it out on a vibe coding app that services as a command center and manages the entire profit center for my business, right? So I dropped it into PrettyPrompt and it says, hey, this is what I wanted to define: a comprehensive set of performance key indicators. Now, this is what I put into my research tool, because you need to do the research first before you go into a Vibe application to get the most out of it for the least amount of cost, right? I don't know if anybody's teaching that online, or I am, because that's what I found. I spent enough money, right? It was just like getting into ads. You spend enough money to figure out, this is what I will do and this is what I won't do. So I want to kind of give you kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to go behind the scenes. I'm going to show you how to make money. Again, that's what we do. So I said, hey, this is what I want to build. I want to define a comprehensive set, but I want you to define that, and I want you to help me put together a vibe code that will tell me the measurements and the pieces that I need to look at, what triggers, and then structure these KPIs as data endpoints. I told her I did want endpoints. I want to put together KPI endpoints to put together the numbers behind the vibe coding app that would serve as a command center to manage the entire profit center of my business, right? So I just told it all of that. I put that in PrettyPrompt, and this is what it produced. So this paragraph produced this, right? So we took that, right? I was able to get a comprehensive set of instructions. So let's go back into Base44, right? So I've already uploaded, I pulled it out on a PDF, all the research that I got. It was about 4 or 5 pages. So what I wanted to do here is I want to go in and says, I would like, what do you want to build next? This is what it's asking. I would like to build a strong, I would like to build a strong business command center based on the uploaded source. So anytime you add something, you always tell it what you want to add. Now, what I also want to do is at the same time, I want to tell it the name, right? I would like for it to be called, we'll call this, I will add, do I want to add a logo? And here you can add your logo too, and you can tell it the colors. Like you want to go in and tell it the, actually I'll add the logo. I'll add a logo here and we'll see what it comes up with. This when you're building, this is what you got to do. So let me add that in. Give me 1 second. So I added my logo here, called the Travel Command Center, and use the source logo in the top right corner and use the colors for inspiration of the app. So we'll do that, right? So we'll do that and we'll build that out, and then let's see what we get here, right? So I don't know what we're going to get. Again, I've never built anything in this app at this detail, but we'll go from there. And so let's see what we get. So again, I've already did the homework, right? I have a company called the Elk Grove Travel Company. Again, I run a travel company. I run an investment firm. I run a retirement planning. I run online coaching. I run AI growth school. I teach kids how to invest. I teach people how to make money in digital media. I coach people, show them how to create their revenue streams. I showed them how to build funnels. Funnels, not the old way of building funnels. It's funnels just knowing where people are at the top of the funnel, moving them down through the middle of the funnel, and then sending them into their appropriate place. When people come into your ecosystem, you have to know where to send them. You can't send people everywhere. You gotta kind of point them in a direction where they want to go, right? And so I've kind of mastered that and understand that. I teach people how to grow YouTube channels. I've learned from some of the best. One of the things as this kind of builds out here, and as it starts to build, you should always take, you should always take inventory and take stock of what it's actually doing. So what it's doing here is, now that I have the full PDF, let me plan a comprehensive travel command center app. The app will be the travel command center for Elk Grove Travel Company with 5 main screens as specific in the PDF. Because what I did was, once I did the research, I dropped it into another tool that would specializes what they do. I'm not going to spec for Base44. I'm not going to spec for Lovable. I'm not going to spec for these other applications that are not good at what they do to try to make them good at what they do. I found that some of the best tools in the LLMs are very, very good at specific things. Claude is very, and I'll repeat this, Claude is very, very good at digesting code, figuring out what's going on, and it reads pictures as well. It reads pictures better than it reads websites. Some LLMs read websites better than they read pictures. It's the weirdest, strangest things. So I use a couple of different tools when people say how you put the sausage together. I do read several tools. So in my AI Growth Academy, I'm going to be giving people the special tools that I use to build out. So right now I have about 10 apps that people are actually paying for. Some apps I've created to be free. Some I've created to create revenue from. And there's a method to creating apps. You just don't roll out of bed and create apps. You have to do research, and you have to build in a certain amount of security in most of them. You have to put payment gateways in. You have to add your Stripe keys and all that. Got to make sure it's not being exposed. So the AI Growth School, again, I'm going to be teaching people that. I'm going to be live coding with people and wanting people to pull their tools up, and we do them together. So I'm going to pause this. I don't know how long this is going to take to come up, but I'm going to pause this. Let's look through a couple more things here before I pause this and say maybe it comes up. So it's an effective overview, marketing and growth, revenue by product, group and event performance, agent performance, color palette. Now, what I asked you to do is inspired by the logo. I told it, hey, look at my logo. I don't have to get into the different fonts, and I could find and get the RGB code. Sometimes I will do that if I want my app to look a specific color. I will research the actual and will give the actual color, the hashtag or the hex color. I will do that and give, hey, I want all the secondary colors to be this. I want the primary colors to be that. I will put that all in the code. But here I just said, hey, go and use the inspiration inspired by the logo, because I told it, look at the logo. I uploaded the logo and I uploaded what I wanted for the actual system setup. And here, these are the colors. These are the RGB colors. The hex colors that it pulled off. Background clean, off-white, dark accents. In entities needed, KPI metrics, booking, agent, YouTube metrics, events, signature event data. I run a signature event because I do travel, but I have an investment firm. I have a partnership with my investment firm with my travel company that I book these travel educational cruises that go anywhere between 12 to 15 days. So on that, every single day, I'm giving people different highlights of retirement and investment and strategies and all that. But I booked the entire cruise through my travel company through a partnership. So once you learn how ecosystems are put together, once you learn how moats operate, that's what I've learned being a stockbroker for almost 30 years. I learned how businesses are put together. And I kind of started doing that with the businesses that I put together. I always build them from the ground up. And I begin with the end in mind. This is exactly what I really, really want. And then I'll build it like that. So I'm going to pause this. This looks like this is still running. I gave it a lot of information when I loaded it. It says, these are the components. It builds it out. These are all the things I worked on. Now let me set up the design system. Now let me build all 5 pages and see the sample data. You always want to ask for sample data so you can see how things look. Once you finish building it out, you want to you always want to ask for admin. You want to ask for admin screens so you can go in, You can make edits, but once you get the good working shell, that's your biggest cost in building out an app. You get the working shell. That's why you need as much information as you can. And then you start tweaking it, right? He says, I don't know if I like this here, but I would like to have more control over this here. So then you go in and you tweak every little piece after the house is built. You want to go in and start changing the rooms, moving furniture around. But you got to get that up to date first. So let me see what else we have here. Let's see what we got. Let me see. Move over here. The travel command center is now fully built with 5 dashboards because I guess it's almost ready. I wanted to talk to you and kind of tell you my thought process when I'm building these different things. The game is changing a little bit. I think to be efficient in building apps and or being able to, all right, so here's what we got here, right? So let me it's funny because they built it like my other one, right? We talked about that, right? So let me take my face off the screen here. Let's see what we got. This is not the same app that I built my other one in. I'm going to show you my other one. You're going to be like, oh, they're pretty eerie close. So I took my face off here. So here's what we got, right? It kind of built it out the same way. Executive overview, total annual commission income, net revenue, residual income. This is what I wanted. I have residual income and I have overall gross income from commissions, right? So then I have marketing and growth here. Leads, qualified, discovery calls, signed, active, agents by source, YouTube, referral, social media, website, event. All right. Then I have the logo is right here. I love that, right? Revenue by product. This is fantastic. This is what I want to do. I want to add that, right? I want to add that. Oh, no, that's the other one. Yeah, I want to add this to the other. So what I want to make is 3 major cores. So each one of my ecosystems, I want to at least make at a minimum $500,000 per ecosystem. So 1.5 million is what I want to generate in revenue for all of them. So here's what we got here. We got rental cars. How much did I make off rental cars, hotels, cruises, flights, events, group packages. So all these things that I do sell, and this is looking at a gross revenue. This is really nice. Groups and events, lead factor, leads, proposals, confirmed, deposits paid, fully paid. This is nice. Agent performance. So these are different agents. I don't manage any agents, but I do, as I'm growing, I will get agents underneath me. So this may be an element that I like. I have to come back to it. Now, what I want to do is I have this built. Now I want to build in, and I'm going to finish this up and I'm going to finish this video and we're going to talk about, I'm going to show you this, but then on a part 2, I'm going to show you where I was able to come in and add a little bit more to. One of the things I do want to add before I leave is I would like to add a comprehensive admin dashboard, for me to input my KPI numbers. So we have that there. I don't think they built one. Let me see right here. What is that? Oh, that shrinks the screen. Okay, nice. Got the logo there. All right, so this is what I will add in. I'm gonna add in for me to input my KPI input numbers. I also want to be able to input numbers on a monthly basis that roll up to annual numbers I would also like a threshold meter that will inform me if I am on track to make the annual goals, annual revenue goals. All right, so let me add this particular piece here. So once you got a good working shell, this is a pretty good working shell. You then go in, you always add your admin screen. And then when you finish all of that, you kind of secure it up with security, say, hey, go in, do some security checks and things like that. Now, the couple of questions are going to come up, right? And I'll talk about the back end and how that works, because you will need a place to store this data, right? What I notice with most LLMs is they want you to stay with they want to put their back end on the back end, because if a company can put their back end on the back, when I say their back end, that means their database, right? Because every app that you build is going to hold data, even hold the pictures, even hold the logo, even they're going to need a back end to hold the data, right? They're going to want to position it that you use their back end. The reason why they want to position their back end is so you never leave. You stay a recurring customer on their platform forever, because your data lives there, right? You want a tool that's going to give you flexibility that, hey, I want to take my sandbox and go to another sandbox, or I want to run it on. So even when you're doing your WordPress, the back in the day when you build, your data had to live somewhere, so it lived on their servers. So this works as the same way. You're going to have to pay someone somewhere when you start building apps, right? And a lot of it is if you do tools that require people to pay you monthly or something like that, you're going to have to, sometimes they charge you in how many hits, how many visits people, because once your tool becomes very, very popular, then it starts to put a lot of stress on their system and their server. And so you have to be careful when you start building. You have to know what kind of tool you're building. This is an internal tool, will have no customer facing, but so you have to think about that as well. So if you're going to have a lot of customer facing, you want to build an inexpensive system, and the back end, you can kind of grow and scale with you. And I'll talk about that a little bit more on the channel. Let's see what we got here. And then this is going to be the end of the video. I know this is a long video. I'm going to try to put chapters as well. So, and I will, if there's any affiliate links or anything like that to help support the channel, I'll put those in here as well. All right. So what do we got here? So the goal meters, that's now live at admin.kpi in the sidebar. So this is the admin, KPI admin. Color meters, color coded, threshold meters, green, good, yellow, almost there, red is you belong for every KPI versus your annual targets, plus a full summary table with year-to-date annual goals, remaining and percentage complete. So monthly input, a scrollable spreadsheet grid to enter actuals for all 13 KPIs across all 12 months with an auto-calculated annual, I love this, annual targets. All data persist to the database, and save all button commits everything at once. So let's take a look at that. So we added the admin screen here. Let's take a look at the admin screen. Nice. So what we have here is we have our monthly input here. You put in monthly, these are the numbers. These are all the inputs, the things we want to measure, event attendees, so on and so forth from there. And then we have our annual targets here. This is what I want to make. This is perfect. So when you really, running several companies, being a high-level executive, teaching grad school, these are the things that small entrepreneurs don't think about, but you can actually tell if you're going to be on target. These are the actual years here, 25, 26, 27. Then you hit the save all button. I love this, right? These are your goals. Are you behind? There is no money, man. You're behind. You haven't made any money. There isn't anything in here. It's just like my other. So now when I put my dashboards together, so I have one dashboard for one of my ecosystems, and then I have another dashboard for my next ecosystem. And you can put those in there like that. This is great. Okay, Base44, I like what I've done here. There will be a link in the description below, so you can at least pick it up. Use my affiliate link. Won't cost you anything additional. They'll probably pay me a small fee, a very minimal fee, right? But this is kind of, I like what I did here. And as we go along, I'm going to show you some of the other things that I've built to create and or increase my revenue that I'm building. But I got to know what I'm doing on the back end. Your numbers are important. I have a master's degree in accounting, and I got to tell you, I have a master's degree in accounting, master's degree in finance, and your numbers are the most important indicator of business growth. Most businesses fail, and I'll tell you this video's gone on way too long. I did not want this video to be this long. I may make 2 parts. I don't know. No, this is one video. Just study this video when you get an opportunity, and we're going to come back to it for Base44. But one of the things you need to understand as a business owner, and please take heed to what I'm telling you, your business will not grow. You'll choke your business out if you do not have adequate cash flow. And what I mean by that is, and I'll tell you this, and I think it's a good teaching opportunity for me to tell you this, is you have to know your numbers, right? You have to know your numbers in order to run a thriving business. It is the yuckiest part of any business to know the numbers, but it's the most important part. Most businesses fail because they just don't know the numbers. You can make the numbers easy, meaning at the beginning of the year, you can say, hey, what is my overhead? I add up everything. My rent is this. My cell phone is this. My internet is this. It's, I don't know, $10,000 a year. Let's just say. You have to at least make $10,000 to stay in business. But if you want to be profitable, you have to at least say, all right, I want to make at least $20,000, cover my overhead, and have a $10,000 revenue, net revenue. You have to know how to put those numbers in. And so once you figure out how much you want to make, you back the numbers in. And if you back the numbers in, they will tell you every single month if you're on target or if you're off target. If you see that you can't catch up, then you have to start cutting expenses. That's another story. Again, AI Growth School, I am breaking it down. You want to get it here, this is what we do. All right, I'm going to do a couple of live streams and things like that. But AI Growth Academy, I am going to put a link for the waitlist for that. That's going to be launching here soon. It's take you from the mere basics, but it takes you up to where you're actually earning revenue. And we're going to be talking about that. And as I have my breakouts and meet with people during office hours, I'm going to show people what they need to be doing and show them how to make money. Hey, this has been Jenny Jones. Thank you for checking out this Base45 demo. It took a little longer, but we got it done. I'm going to come back. I want to show you this. So this is the second leg. So I have 3 different Vibe apps. So I'm going to build each leg in each Vibe app. And you're going to see the difference in what they do and who does what better and where the data lives and all that. All right, you guys have been great. Take care. Thanks. Goodbye for now.